Hey, this is Mr. C, and thanks for tuning into your lesson 3, 4.5, long division. This is a supplemental lesson within lessons to make sure that we understand how to do long division. Once you have this written with your name and your date, please unpause the video in 3, 2, 1. At this time, please check your homework. Please pause the video. Moving on in 3, 2, 1. Alright, so here's our first example, and as I see, there's nothing written in the top right corner, so you don't need to be writing anything, you're just watching. So the first thing that we're going to do with this problem is divide. So many teachers or people could ask, how many times does 9 go into 86? Another way I could say that is, how many groups of 9 could 86 be split into? How many groups of 9 are there if I split 86? Or if I have 86 sheep, how many groups of 9 would I have? So I know that 9 times 9 is 81. And I know that 9 times 10 is 90. And so this is too big. I know it doesn't go in 10 times, but I do know it goes in 9 times, or there could be 9 groups of 9. Alright, so I just divided. This part right here is dividing. Next, I'm going to multiply. So now I'm going to ask myself, what is 9 times 9? Well, that's 81. Now I'm going to subtract. 86 minus 81, that's 5. And next I'm going to bring down. And I know that you've all had this lesson in previous years. And I'm bringing down the 4 and I'm making 54. And I'm asking myself again, if I had 54 sheep, how many groups of 9 could I make from that? Well, I know that 9 times 6 is 54. So let's put 6 right there. I just divided. Now I want to know multiply. 9 times 6, that is 54. Next I subtract. And then I would bring down, but you see there's nothing here, so I don't need to bring down. There's nothing left. If I did not have a 0 here, I would either bring down or have a remainder. It would depend on what we would want at that time, whether we want a remainder or whether we want you to find a decimal answer. So the answer here would be 96. In your vocab notes, please write the long division process: divide, multiply, subtract, bring down. We're going to unpause the video in 3, 2, 1. Alright, so here's example 1. We know that you're going to write both of these in your notes, and you're going to watch me do them, and then you see the answer. So, this one. Once again, I'm wondering, what do I do first? So first I'm going to divide. I know that 6 times 8 is 48. And I know that 6 times 9 is 54. So I'm looking at this 52. Well, there can't be 9 groups of 6, because in order for 9 groups of 6, there need to be 54 sheep. So we don't have 54, we only have 52 sheep. So I know that we can split into 8 groups. So there's 8, and I just divided. Now I need to multiply. 6 times 8, that is 48. We just multiplied, now we're going to subtract. The way that I do this would, I don't actually need to borrow. I could just count up. I could do 49, 50, 51, 52. That would be 4. And we just subtracted. Now we're going to bring down 48. That's interesting. We just did that last time, so I know that's already 8. Now we're going to multiply. 6 times 8, 48. Then we subtract. And then we would bring down, but we notice that this is a 0, so it terminates, it ends. We don't need to bring down. So the problem is done. How many groups of 6 could you make from 528 sheep? You can make 88 groups of 6. On to the next example. You are going to be asked to divide by 2-digit divisors. And you know, that can be a lot more difficult than just dividing by 1, and I mean, obviously you don't have those memorized. So that's why we've been having all those lessons about estimating. So in order to find out how many groups of 19 could I have in 9, well, we know that's going to be a 0. But we could ask ourselves, how many groups of 19 will there be in 91? Well, it's kind of hard to multiply 19 in my head. but I do know this is close to 20, and I am going to ask you to estimate like this every problem today when there's a 2-digit divisor, because it just makes it so much easier. So I know this is about 20, and I know that 91 is about 90, and I'm asking myself, how many groups of 20 are there in 90? How many groups of 20 could I split 90 into? Well, I know that's a lot easier. I know that 20 times 4 is 80. And I also can do in my head that 20 times 5 is 100. And I know that's too big. There isn't 100. There's only 90. So I know that it's going to be 4. So we just divided, and now we're going to multiply. So we're going to ask ourselves, well, what is 19 times 4? Well, we're going to have to do that, but we know that it's going to go in 4 times because we did the estimating. We know it's 76. All right, so that was the multiply step. After multiply, we subtract. And I think I am going to borrow this time. Make the 1 and 11. 11 minus 6, 5, 1. All right, we just subtracted. What do I do after that? I bring down. See, this could potentially even be hard as well. Well, I know that 152 is about 150. And again, I'm going to keep 19 at 20, and I'm going to ask myself, how many groups of 20 are there in 150? Well, I know that 20 times 7 is 140. And now that 20 times, and there's no way I could do this fast if it was 19 times 7 and all that stuff. I know that 20 times 8 is 160. And I know that I have 152. We don't have 160, so we're going to have to go with this lower number. So we're going to say it goes in, makes 7 groups. So what is 19 times 7? Well, we're going to need to multiply that. $133. Let's borrow. All right, I just made more room over here by erasing. But you might come to this situation when you're estimating like this, because, you know, we estimate the divisor to make it easier. And we found out that 19 times 7 is 133, and we subtracted these, and I had 19 left over. I'm looking at the divisor, and that's 19. Well, if I subtract these numbers and I have 19 left over, what that means is that 19, there's another group of 19. There's not just 7 groups of 19, there's 8. And so I need to change my answer up here. If that ever happens to you today, and you have the exact number here that's our divisor, then there's one more group. Our estimating worked, we got close, but we could fit one more 19 in. So I'm actually going to erase that, and I'm going to change it to 8. So you see I did my multiplication over here. I got 152 for 19 times 8. So I do know it can go in there. 152 minus 0. Now we're done. So we know our answer is 48. Once you're done writing this, then please go on to the next problem. In 3, 2, 1. 2 you're going to do before. Alright, what we have is a single-digit divisor and a double-digit divisor to mix things up for you. Remember, on these ones, I would like you to estimate 34. So you can estimate this to 30 and ask yourself, how many groups of 30 could I make in certain numbers? So first, I'd ask myself, how many groups of 30 could I make in 2? No. How many groups of 30 could I make from 20? None. How many groups of 30 could I make from about 200? Then you'll ask yourself that. Please unpause the video to see your answers in 3, 2, 1. Alright, so here are your answers here. We should get 96 for this side. And how exactly did I do this side? Well, I did 30, which is about 34, times 6, and I know that's 180. I'm looking for something around 200. And I know that 30 times 7 is 210. Well, that's too big, so I didn't do 7. So then I tried to do the divisor, 36 times 6, and I got exactly 204. So my estimating worked out really well because I got under 207. And that was my multiplying. So then I subtracted. I brought the 3 down and then bring down the 4. And that's really cool because I know 34 goes into 34 one time. And then you're done, 61. Please unpause the video in 3, 2, 1. Alright, so here are your independent or partners practice questions. Please write these in your book. Notice how they're double-digit divisors. So they are meant to practice your estimating with the divisors to make it easier on yourself. And also, please pick 4 of these to do. You don't need to do all 6. Pick the 4 you'd like. My favorite right here is this problem because I can round the divisor to 100, and I know that it's super easy to divide by 100, so I'd recommend doing that problem. And we're showing you the answers in 3, 2, 1. Here are your answers for the previous problem. For all of these, you should have work underneath the problems as well as the problems written to show me how you got that answer. After you're done checking your answers, please go to the Socrative gas station and then go to Khan Academy. You should have an assignment ready for you to do. So please click the regular Khan Academy button and then go to assignments and start those. Once again, thank you for watching, and you are awesome.